Wow. So that's what started the swine flu vaccine program in 1976, and it did turn out to be a disaster. And what about the program that's going on now? Give us the comparisons.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I want to mention that there, on my website, which is www.thedoctorwithin.com, I have three articles. One is a moderate size article, and two are short articles where I explain this whole process. It's completely referenced. And it's so confusing reading about swine flu and H1N1 in the media these days. There's so much contradictory information on both sides, and so I try to bring it into focus for somebody who's really trying to sift through all this noise. So let's go to April 2009 now.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, here we have what's the original story? The original story are these Mexicans in this isolated part of Mexico suddenly are coming up with, are getting sick, and a few of them are dying of some supposedly mysterious flu. And I noticed, I'm very sensitive to the phrases that they use in media, and within the first 4 days, when they started using that word pandemic, in the first 4 days, after just a few people got this, I saw it coming. I saw that's the earmark. That is the red flag that you should be prepared for a huge media blitz. And so then we all remember that it snowballed. Within a week or two, then they were saying, okay, now there's hundreds of thousands of Mexicans who are supposedly infected with this disease, and several of them have died, and very soon it will be spreading to the United States. And at that time, remember, it did spread to the United States by some illegals, and then they said very soon Americans will die. And then remember that one teacher in Texas, she died right on cue, right after they said that. And the very mysterious thing about it, in that article, you might notice, the very last paragraph had this sentence. This woman had an undisclosed pre-existing medical condition. Of course, that had nothing to do with it, right?
Sure.
So, it was very sophisticated, very canny, very organized type of story, the way the story evolved. And so it was... What I say in my what I explain in my chapter, the reason I was so prepared for this is that I have a book on vaccines. It's now in its 13th edition. The Sanctity of Human Blood: Vaccination is Not Immunization. Well, the 13th edition of this book came out 4 months before this new H1N1 swine flu thing happened in April, and I predicted that this was going to happen. I didn't know the name of it. I didn't know where it was going to happen, but I said it was going to come, and it was going to come very soon. Why? Because if you just step back and look at the way the swine flu, this program has unfolded in the last 5 months, it is exactly in the same paradigm, in the same mold as what happened with smallpox, the post-9/11 smallpox scare, anthrax, SARS, and avian flu. They all happen in the exact same pattern. You claim that there is a disease threat without proving that it is an actual disease, without identifying the pathogen. And then that is followed by a massive, very orchestrated and very slick media blitz that's incessant, and it never backs off, and it becomes more and more hysterical as time goes by. But wait, there is something that is going to save us. It is a vaccine and a drug like Tamiflu. And then finally, as soon as the money is allocated, as soon as the money is spent for the vaccine and the drug, what magically happens? Poof. The disease disappears, the threat disappears, and then you don't hear about it again. And that's exactly what we're right in the middle of that now with the swine flu hysteria. And it's just, to me, it's astounding that people can't see the obvious parallels how each one of these is orchestrated in exactly the same way. And that's why what I explain in my articles at thedoctorwithin.com.